Welcome to America's favorite wellness hour, Healthy by Nature, with certified clinical nutritionist Marty Whittakin.
Well, hello and welcome. A special welcome to our new listeners in the San Francisco area, Oakland, San Jose, all of those lovely places in California that we can now be heard twice a day on Saturday. And I'd like to also welcome our podcast listeners in Australia. We have quite a number there, in Canada, Ireland, Spain. I would say Germany, but unfortunately Germany, if they get enamored of something they hear advertised on this show, there are such restrictions, they might have trouble ever ordering it. But most of the rest of the world can get these things, and so far we can in the U.S. as long as we jealously guard our health freedoms. The FDA would just as soon not have dietary supplements because they interfere with the sale of medications. And my first guest, Susan Linke, is nodding her head yes. She's been down this road before too. We have two guests today. We're going to start talking about food sensitivity and how that might present itself and what to do about it. And then in the second half, we're going to talk especially about skin and aloe vera and why and how it works, as well as how to know you're getting a product that will actually do all the wonders that you can enjoy from having aloe vera at your disposal. In the newsletter this week, I kind of took the week off and didn't do a blog, and I explained why. I just sometimes get where my cup runneth over and so does my plate, and I just have to take a deep breath. And I do always send out the newsletter, though, with news of what's coming up on this program, as well as link to the previous program in case you missed it, a description of that. There's always a quote which I think is usually somewhat inspiring or at least educational. There's a joke and a feel-good link. Also, frequently there's an update. And in this case, I wanted to make sure everybody had access to it, so I also put it in the description of today's show in the archives. And that's about H.R. 5. This is legislation that's pending in Washington and is so often the case. They set out to do one thing good, and they just say, well, let's also do all of these other things, and it got kind of carried away. And I think, speaking of health freedom, you're going to want to look there and read about it. There's a link to where you can learn about it as well as take action by sending a message to Washington. The only thing that legislators fear more than annoying one of the special interests is upsetting the electorate, because the job number one for them is to get elected the next time. And it really does make a difference if we speak up, and the more that we can annoy them with postcards and emails and phone calls, the more they pay attention. We'll be right back. Please don't go away.
It's a long-standing tradition to give our homes a more thorough cleaning in the spring and fall, but you may not have thought about this. Our bodies also accumulate unwanted gunk over time. Toxins bombard us from the air, food, water, and even from skincare products. Toxins that don't leave the body are promptly stored in cells where they can gum up the works. We want to encourage them to leave, but most products called detoxifiers are little more than laxatives. They're not much help for removing wastes from cells and tissues like the liver. The synergistic blend of herbs in Lily of the Desert's herbal detox formula works gently in several ways to target toxins wherever they hide. Studies show that an important proprietary ingredient, Lily's aloe vera concentrate, Alozorb, reduces blood levels of the toxins ammonia, nitrates, and free radicals by 40% or more. Lily of the Desert products are available at most natural food stores nationwide. Link to Lily from the sponsor page of RadioMarty.com. And please like Lily of the Desert on Facebook. Most animals internally produce vitamin C. However, due to a gene mutation, humans must rely entirely upon dietary and supplemental sources of vitamin C to maintain health. Formula 216 is a groundbreaking advancement in vitamin C science. It's designed to raise vitamin C levels without reliance upon dietary or supplemental vitamin C. Formula 216 may restore vitamin C as a hormone secreted from the liver to overcome that gene mutation, which occurred long ago in humans. And results from the first human tests are in. Urine tests reveal that Formula 216 maintains vitamin C blood levels long after they would have dropped to zero following consumption of ordinary vitamin C supplements. Call toll-free 833-848-2216 to order. A 30-capsule bottle of Formula 216 will be rushed to your doorstep. That's 833-848-2216 to help maintain vitamin C blood levels 24 hours a day. Again, 833-848-2216.
Subscribe to Marty's free newsletter at the Healthy by Nature Show website, hbnshow.com. hbnshow.com.
Susan Linke has a whole bunch of wonderful initials after her name: MBS, MBA, MS, RD, LD, and CLT. She is an award-winning registered and licensed dietitian, and the CLT is certified LEAP therapist. We're going to find out about that. She's also a certified gluten practitioner. We could do a show just on gluten, and maybe one of these days we will. Let's try and remember to do that. She is so well versed in adverse food reactions and using the LEAP technology that she teaches other dietitians around the country, at least, in how to help people with these problems. She's been practicing in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 16 years, focusing on chronic inflammation conditions and gastrointestinal conditions such as IBS, SIBO, and inflammatory bowel disease. The name of her business is Food Sensitivity Specialist, LLC. But fear not, we will also find out what you can do if you're listening, let's say in Kansas City, that there's going to be help. And I welcome you to the studio. Thank you for getting up extra early on Saturday and coming in to the studio to be with us in person.
Thank you, Marty. It's quite the honor to be here.
Well, we're here to help people discover the wonder that is the human body, what they can do to support it with what it needs, and how they can stop interfering with it, with things that it doesn't like. Some of the things on that don't interfere side are pretty obvious. Smoking, drinking too much, not sleeping, being sedentary, and so on. But some are very subtle, and that comes from what we eat. I mean, we hear about things we shouldn't eat, and often those warnings are wrong, like they beat up so badly on butter and lard and then found out that, oh, wait a minute, margarine's much worse, and so on. But food sensitivity, way under the radar for the most part. And I think people will be more interested if we start with what kinds of effects does, if somebody keeps eating a food that their body doesn't like and they may not know it, what kinds of effects might it have over time?
Well, food sensitivities are more prevalent than food allergies, and they're a lot harder to figure out. So a lot of times people may have food sensitivities and they may not realize it because the reaction may happen subclinically. They may not feel it, or they may feel it 3 days from the time they ate the food.
How long can, that's one of the questions I was going to ask, how long can a food sensitivity reaction be delayed?
Typically, it can be delayed 72 to 96 hours. Sometimes they feel it within minutes or hours, and it's dose dependent and time delayed. So that's another reason that it can be confusing, is because somebody may eat a cup of strawberries one day and be fine, but if they eat it 3 days in a row, that may push them past the threshold, or they may eat a fourth of a cup of something and be fine, but if they eat 3/4 of a cup of the same thing, not be fine, because of that dose dependency and frequency. So it can be really, really confusing to try to figure it out without a blood test, although you can, to some degree anyway. With a food diary, it just becomes a lot more difficult.
I've said in the past that you can do a whole lot of good with an 89-cent spiral pad where you write down I would probably put it in an Excel spreadsheet, but you can do it old school just with pen and paper and writing down what you have done, what you've eaten, and how you feel. And then you can look back on it and maybe see a pattern that every Friday night you have poker night and you eat something there, but come Monday morning you have a headache. And you might not think about it on Monday night, but if you saw it as a repeating pattern, then that might be the clue. But is it likely that if somebody has one food sensitivity that they have others? Do they go in clusters?
They do, and the reason is because one of the big roots for food sensitivities is leaky gut. So if you have leaky gut, you're going to develop food allergies and food sensitivities. And leaky gut may sound like a hokey term, but the scientific term is gut permeability. But even some of the most renowned gastroenterologists like Alessio Fasano always calls gut permeability leaky gut. So
it's something you can picture, and it makes it translatable into lay language.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, on the HBN website, which is hbnshow.com, if you go in the menu, you'll see library. You click on that, and in the digestive section, I have a description and an illustration that shows what happens when you have leaky gut. This could also be a whole show, but how do people acquire leaky gut?
Many ways. There's a lot of things, your cell membrane that divides the contents of your gut from the inside of your body is really one cell thick. And in between those cells, it's almost like a fence with some glue in between. And that glue are called tight junctions. And so there's a lot of things that you can do to break those tight junctions. And when you do, then food particles start getting absorbed before they're fully broken down, and your immune system, which is there to protect you, says, oh no, you don't belong in here. And so it starts mounting an immune response. But some of the things that can break those tight junctions would be vitamin D deficiency, which is rampant. Also, the additives and all the chemicals in our food supply. So when you eat a lot of processed foods and you eat a lot of those ingredients that you don't even know what they are, they're hard to pronounce, all of that fake food can break those tight junctions. Alcohol, excess alcohol can also do it. And drugs, prescription drugs can also do it. NSAIDs, Tylenol. So if you're chronically taking Tylenol or ibuprofen or things like that, that can also break those tight junctions. So, and if you take a lot of Tylenol and ibuprofen, it should be a signal that something isn't right.
And it becomes a vicious cycle, I would think, because leaky gut and food sensitivities both contribute to inflammation, which is going to increase the level of pain, and so then you're going to take more of the medications, and it's not a good spiral because it's headed down.
Right. And a lot of the drugs that we take prescription-wise are really there to manage. They really don't, in general, cure anything either.
It'd be hard to come up with one that is actually a cure because most of them are as you say, for managing the side effects of a condition, the symptoms, and they also serve as an annuity for the drug companies, so they kind of like it when you have to take something, here the air quotes, for the rest of your life.
Right, and sometimes those drugs actually lead to worse problems, and one that I can readily think of is PPIs for reflux. When you take a PPI, it reduces your B12 levels, it reduces your magnesium levels. You need magnesium to help absorb vitamin D. It reduces your calcium and your iron and your zinc. So you're going down a slippery slope, because those in turn can cause neuropathy and all kind. You need magnesium for 300 enzymatic reactions in the body. So, and vitamin D regulates your immune system in a major way. So sometimes taking PPIs may solve one problem, but it's going to end up causing a myriad of other problems. So I'm not against taking something in the short run if you need it for temporary, but let that be a signal that you really do need to work on the root cause, and hopefully be able to wean off some of those prescriptions.
In my book, Natural Alternatives to Nexium and the Other Acid Blockers, I explain a lot of what you just said, and that if you need magnesium, for example, to keep your heart beating regularly, you should think about the choice that you're making. Okay, I've got a little heartburn. Maybe I ought to figure out what's causing that instead of stopping my digestion and creating all of these downstream effects that you just mentioned.
Absolutely.
Well, when we come back, we'll get into what people can do to find out what their food sensitivities are, and then what happens after that. If you have a question about food sensitivities, or in the second half about aloe vera, our number here at the show is 800-281-8255. 800-281-8255. We'll be right back with Susan Linke.
Our bodies depend on a potent powerhouse of beneficial bacteria that support and improve every aspect of our health. Dr. Ohhira's formula encourages probiotics to function at their peak performance. Encapsulated in a vegetarian soft gel, Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics is a live paste of 12 strains of probiotic bacteria and nourishing prebiotics from whole fruit and vegetables. Transformative postbiotic compounds created during Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics' exclusive 3-year fermentation process are present in every capsule. These restorative postbiotics nurture diverse gut bacteria, leading to better digestion, improved immunity, and exceptional health. Join the millions of people worldwide who know the power of Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics. Discover the Dr. Ohhira difference for yourself. Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics are available at natural health retailers nationwide and online. Go to www.essentialformulas.com for a retailer near you. That's essentialformulas.com.
It takes several factors to create cancer. That's why it just makes sense to treat the disease with a variety of therapies. Whatever you decide about mainstream medicine's typical surgery, chemo, and radiation, you should know that the Casanas Institute has many powerful tools in their toolbox. For example, natural ways to support your immune system, specialized detoxification programs, and a personalized nutritional plan. If chemotherapy is right for your case, the Casanas Institute also offers a gentler approach. Low-dose chemotherapy delivered in a smart way that targets the cancer cells more than your healthy cells. Their approach is individualized to you and your type of cancer to provide effectiveness and reduced side effects. At the Casanas Institute, an experienced care manager will guide you and coordinate options. Don't you deserve a doctor that uses the best of modern science and ancient wisdom? Link from hbnshow.com or call 817-481-6342.
People who regularly drink coffee or tea, consume sugary foods, and in particular drink wine, beer, or spirits, and people who take antacid or diuretic water pills deplete their body of vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Symptoms of vitamin B1 deficiency can include headaches, chronic cough, racing heart, constipation or diarrhea, non-infectious fever, crippling weakness and pain, difficulty walking or talking, loss of smell and taste, breathlessness, loss of hunger, sweating, tingling in hands and feet, memory problems, and more. The answer to these problems is vitamin B1 in the preferred fat-soluble form provided in Nerve Guardian. It is the new dietary supplement from Lifespan Nutrition. Nerve Guardian provides 10 times more vitamin B1 than the best diet. Buy 1 bottle of Nerve Guardian and get a second bottle free. That's a full 8-month supply for just $3.12 per month. Call Lifespan Nutrition today and ask for Nerve Guardian. Call 800-247-5731. That's 800-247-5731.
Dr. Ohhira's Probiotics has been a proud sponsor of the Healthy by Nature show for well over a decade.
My guest in the studio for this part of the show is Susan Linke. She's a registered dietitian, licensed and qualified as a certified LEAP therapist, and we'll get into what that is here shortly. You talked a little bit about some of the problems that people might have from food sensitivities. I brought up headache as one kind of thing. Just a little bit about the difference between allergy and food sensitivity. We're all aware of the peanut problem. You can't open a bag of peanuts on an airplane without somebody going into shock. And there are lots of different ways that food can annoy us. For example, when I recently figured out that the grass-fed whey wonderful protein that I put in the protein drink on Saturday mornings was the reason I was having to clear my throat all the time. And I know that I can't do like ice cream on Friday night and so on, but I really hadn't thought about the whey protein. But that might not be, is that a food sensitivity, or is that just a lot of people get mucus from dairy?
Mm-hmm. It could be an allergy or a sensitivity. Dairy is probably one of the top allergens, and as well, and I see it in my food sensitivity testing as well. So whenever anybody has upper respiratory drainage, mucus, or even skin like eczema, one of the top things I remove typically is dairy.
Yeah. And you've seen some probably surprising results of when people resolved their food sensitivity. What kinds of things might improve?
There are so many conditions. Your immune system affects every organ in your body. So whenever you have inflammation caused by food sensitivities, it can affect your mood. It can affect, it can cause irritable bowel syndrome or inflammatory bowel diseases. Autoimmune conditions are made worse. So we see improvements in lupus, or Hashimoto's thyroiditis is another big one. Crohn's disease has responded really well also to removing food triggers. Eczema, as I mentioned before, reflux. We've even had cases with epilepsy where seizures have improved too. So it's a cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, those things. Even diabetes, we've seen improvements in blood glucose levels, and even hormone changes. So when people have trouble losing weight and they reduce inflammation, they're able to lose weight much easier.
And you mentioned that with your husband, nosebleeds.
Yes.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But yes, you can get leaky vessels as well as leaky gut. So,
well, I've heard that if you have leaky gut, you also have leaks in the blood-brain barrier, which doesn't sound like a good thing at all.
That's true. And in your brain, you have the hypothalamus, which helps regulate insulin and impacts your liver also. And those things are involved in fat metabolism. So that term is now called neuroinflammation. So you can have inflammation in the brain as well as the rest of your body.
So from what I'm hearing, if you're eating foods that you're sensitive to, you're probably going to have a lot more trouble maintaining your ideal weight.
Yes. And then when you have trouble maintaining your ideal weight, that also leads to inflammation. So it's a chicken and an egg. That's just
and both of them are after you.
That's right.
Vicious chickens.
Vicious chickens, that's right.
So tell us what LEAP, L-E-A-P, what is that organization?
It's a dietary protocol that involves a blood test for food sensitivities. The blood test is probably the most comprehensive. It's based on a blood test called the mediator release test, and it measures delayed hypersensitivity reactions. What's different about the protocol is that in most cases when you go to the allergist or the doctor and you get any sort of food sensitivity or food allergy testing, they usually tell you, well, you reacted to apples and soy and corn, so just don't eat your apples and soy and corn. The big problem with that approach, though, is that a typical grocery store has 42,000 items in it. And if you just avoid a food on any test and that's all you do, by default, you're going to be eating other foods that are inflammatory. You just don't know it because they weren't tested. And so you may be reducing inflammation to a degree, but not to the degree that you could if we flip the way we approach it backwards. And what I mean by that is, instead of focusing on the foods that you're reactive to on a test, if you focus on the ones that are not reactive, and that becomes your grocery shopping list we do it for 4 weeks, then in theory, we can come up with a diet that is 100% anti-inflammatory for you because you're only eating foods that we know are not inflammatory. You're not eating anything that's tested and reactive, but you're also not eating anything that's untested and reactive. And because we test for 140 foods and 30 chemicals, it is a really ample elimination diet. Because we test everything, spices, fish, beans, nuts, legumes, fruits, vegetables. And so we come up with a diet that is very specific to you. It's not a one-size-fits-all program.
It makes perfect sense. And I assume with the access you had to all of the various kinds of testing that you must have found this to be the most reliable.
Yes. I've been doing this for 16 years, and I absolutely would not be doing this if it didn't work. And the nice thing is it works quickly. Most people within 10 days of eating only their non-inflammatory foods see a 50 to 80% improvement in their symptoms.
I'll bet you give advice, too, about restaurants because most of the time you're eating something that's got 30 ingredients in it and you don't know what they are. I should probably come and see you and do this because I kind of gave up on food sensitivity testing after I did 2 or 3, and then also some muscle testing tests, and all of them said something different. So it's possible I was allergic to or sensitive to all of those things, but maybe some of them just weren't very good. So I kind of reverted to, well, if I can't feel that it's making me feel bad, then I'll eat it. And that it doesn't probably make scientific sense. So, we should talk about doing that. And do you also give folks some guidance about healing the gut? Because if they've acquired food sensitivities because they had leaky gut, you don't want them to camp out on good foods and turn them into food sensitivities because they're leaking.
That's correct. And removing food sensitivities is the first step toward healing leaky gut. But you also have to look at, what got them there to begin with, because food sensitivities didn't arise out of a vacuum. Something happened. And if it's a lifestyle pattern that needs to change, if it's vitamin D deficiency, if it's a reliance on ibuprofen or acetaminophen, which most people don't need to take after, then we do fix the leaky gut too.
Great. And you can help people anywhere because these days the concept of telemedicine has gained acceptance and you're able to use Skype or telephone or email, and you can direct people to a practitioner that's well-trained because you mentor so many of them. So, folks, I would suggest you go to hbnshow.com, click Listen on the menu, go to today's date in the archives, and there's links to Susan's website and where you can email her. And the phone number for her practice is 469-233-0710, 469-233.
You are tuned to Healthy by Nature with certified clinical nutritionist Marty Whittakin.
Are you living with chronic pain from injury or the degeneration of aging? Knee, hip, shoulder, and back surgeries can be risky, expensive, even with insurance, and entail long, painful recoveries. Steroid shots give only temporary relief and can damage joints. Thankfully, our Creator blessed us with stem cells. They are the amazing power that built our bodies and fixed problems fast when we were kids. Stem cells reduce inflammation, regenerate tissue anywhere in the body, and balance immune function. However, as we age, we lose most of these tiny miracle workers. Replenish them with Infinity Cell Therapy. The therapy is simple, safe, virtually painless, affordable, and you do not miss work to recover. Infinity umbilical cord stem cells are pure and extremely vibrant. Be younger and stronger for longer. Call 800-507-6509 today for a free ebook and to schedule your no-cost, no obligation, no pressure consultation, or to find a stem cell seminar in your area. Call 800-507-6509 today. Trace minerals are nutrients that we need only in tiny amounts. However, they have a big impact on health because they are required for hundreds of important enzymes and processes in the body. Selenium is one of those amazing trace minerals. It is needed for thyroid hormone and is a part of glutathione, the master antioxidant. It also helps zinc become more usable, and it keeps toxic mercury from accumulating. Read more about selenium benefits in the library on hbnshow.com. Unfortunately, because of modern farming methods, there is less selenium in food. Not all selenium supplements are equally effective. Jarrow Formulas studies the science and uses the forms of nutrients that do the most good. Host Marty Winnikin takes Jarrow Selenium Synergy. It contains a highly effective form, methylselenocysteine, plus 3 other nutrients that help selenium promote antioxidant protection against free radicals. Ask for Jarrow Selenium Synergy at your favorite natural food store. Visit jarrow.com. That's JARROW.com for high-quality, innovative health formulas.
Now we can do as most animals do, maintain levels of vitamin C without continual reliance upon dietary or supplemental sources of vitamin C. This is revolutionary. Vitamin C works by pouring electrons on unbalanced atoms to counter potentially destructive oxygen and nitrogen free radicals. Instead of taking vitamin C pills all day long, similar to using a fire extinguisher over and over, Formula 216 does this 24/7, akin to an internal fire sprinkler system continually pouring electrons on the free radical fire. That makes Formula 216 the world's first stress-responsive vitamin C pill, rapidly elevating vitamin C levels in response to biological or mental stress. Now you can do what animals do. Upgrade to Formula 216, the world's first 24/7 vitamin C pill. Call 833-848-2216. That's toll-free 833-848-2216 for 24/7 vitamin C protection. That's 833-848-2216.
Healthy by Nature is sponsored in part by HealthWorksMart.com.
I'm delighted that my next guest is Jack Brown. Oh, by the way, I got cut off in the middle of that, repeating the phone number. I'll do the contact information for Susan Linke at the very end of the show when I do the wrap-up. Jack Brown I've known for many, many years, and he never ceases to amuse me. He's a funny guy with a great radio voice, but more importantly for today's episode, he is an expert on aloe vera. He's a vice president at Lily of the Desert, which from all the research I've done is clearly the best aloe vera company in probably the world, but certainly the U.S. And I'm talking to him by phone. Good morning, Jack.
Good morning, Marty. I haven't talked to you in so long. It's nice to hear your voice.
Well, yes, and it's been way too long since we got together for lunch. We'll have to fix that as well now that things are open up again.
Thank God.
Well, I put in the description of this show in the archives today a link to the 50th anniversary for Lily of the Desert, which I think is pretty phenomenal. And I said, gee, they must be doing something right. And then I corrected that they're doing a lot of things right. And we'll get into those technicalities here shortly. But I want to talk about skin and the beating that it takes in the summer and how aloe vera for untold centuries has been helping with that. We get dried out, we get sunburn, we get bites, we get rashes, and it seems that aloe helps with all of those things. Why is that? What does it do?
One of the things that aloe is really known for is skin protection and skin recovery from being out in the sun and getting sunburn and et cetera, and drying out, especially during the summer months. Aloe, by its very nature, moisturizes, and it provides moisturization for the skin. The difference is how much aloe and how far does it penetrate. And those are the key things that make a difference in just somebody saying, here's an aloe and it's got about 5% aloe in it, versus somebody like Lily who has 99% aloe in it. So our particular product penetrates 3 epidermal layers. It gives full moisturization. It helps generate new skin cells. And all of this is proven scientifically. There's a great article that unfortunately he's passed away, but Dr. Glenn Gillis did years ago. It was talking about skin, and he was talking about the penetration and the levels and the moisturization and all the different things that occur. And it's available. You can come to our website. I think it's on our website. But anyway, the bottom line is that that's the key difference in the benefits that aloe brings. It protects and helps regenerate new skin cell growth, and it does penetrate 3 epidermal layers. So that's what makes us a little different. But aloe, by its very nature, as you point out, is going to do some moisturization, no matter how little you have in little aloe in it, because it does help get the skin back into condition again after being out in the sun all day.
Yeah, the drying out is one of the reasons that the skin is vulnerable. But aloe also has an analgesic property. I mean, it really immediately reduces pain in a way that isn't just from moisturizing or stimulating healing. There's something in there that just shuts down the pain. I've used it in extreme stupidity events. For example, one time I had had company, and so I was doing a bunch of bacon at one time, and I had it on one of those old steel cookie sheets, had it in the oven, and it was set for 375 degrees, and I pulled it out with hot pads, but it hit the cooler air and it warped, and once it kind of went wonky, it poured 375 degree bacon grease down my left arm, and I reacted and somehow got it to pour it down my right arm as well. And I wiped it off, cooled it down, and then I put the Lily of the Desert aloe jelly on it, and I didn't even get a blister, and it stopped being horrendously painful. It was hurting so that if I went out in the garage, the warmth that was in the garage was enough to make it hurt. But the aloe jelly just was a miracle. So that's one reason I think at last count, I have 4 tubes at home. I'm always afraid I'm going to run out and I buy another one, but I've got one right by the stove in the kitchen. I've got it in every bathroom, and I had a rash. I got a horrendous rash as a result of taking an antibiotic for some oral dental work. And I guess all dental work is oral, but anyway, I had some oral surgery. And the cardiologist told me that's no longer necessary, but my surgeon thought it was. I took an antibiotic that I had taken once before, okay, and this time it caused a head-to-toe rash that was the worst thing I've ever been through. But in addition to what the dermatologist recommended, I used aloe, and I really got some major relief from that. And Jack, I saw an email from this dermatologist. I'm sure it's one of those canned ones that's put out by the people who, like one of our trade associations or something, but it was talking about skin allergies and allergies to the sun, which is another thing that can happen. There are a couple of different kinds of allergies to the sun, and part of their recommendation was aloe gel. I wish they had put in a recommendation for Lily of the Desert because people would get so much more benefit, and it's less expensive. I did some research in preparation for the show, and I was surprised that there are products out there that cost $10 a tube more or a bottle than Lily and don't have some of what your product has. When we come back, I want you to tell us about Allosorb and why that makes it work even better. As I have said, the archive of today's show it's under June 12th in the archives, and you just go to hbnshow.com, click listen, and there's a drop down that will say archives. You click on that, and then you pick today's date. There's a link to not only the 50th anniversary, but I think I have one in there to the jelly, and if there's not, I will get it there during this break. We'll be right back with Jack Brown and learn more about how you know what you're getting when you buy a product that says aloe on the label. Don't go anywhere. This is Healthy by Nature, and my name is Marty Whittakin.
Summer fun. Beach, pool, boating, golf, gardening, scratches, dry skin, chapped lips, sunburn, not much fun, unless you're prepared with Lily of the Desert aloe vera jelly and lip balm. We all know that the aloe vera plant soothes painful burns, moisturizes, and helps skin heal quickly. In fact, aloe products are everywhere, even in the gift shop of any vacation spot. But you just can't tell by looking that most of them contain very little aloe or that processing has removed the healing elements from the leaves. Insist on Lily of the Desert brand. It's 99% organic aloe. The constituents that give the leaf its magical reputation have been protected and enhanced. Lily of the Desert aloe vera jelly also contains vitamins for a healthy skin and comes in 3 affordable sizes. Most natural food stores nationwide carry the jelly and lip balm. Buy them now for first aid at home, and for goodness sake, don't go on vacation without it, or you may get stuck with that other stuff from the gift shop. Join Lily of the Desert on Facebook.
There's an important difference between a low price and a good value. For example, a cheap vitamin supplement becomes expensive if it doesn't work. Nutrition expert Bill Sardi wanted to have a multivitamin that reflected the latest science. That meant better absorbed forms of essential vitamins and crucial minerals like zinc and selenium in the doses that studies showed were beneficial. He could not find that in stores, so had to design one. Molecular Multi. It is so complete that most people can save money by cutting several bottles out of their supplement program. Better yet, receive 2 bottles free when you buy 3. That makes Molecular Multi only about $1 a day. If your budget needs even more help, host Marty Whittakin says that half a dose of Molecular Multi provides more health benefits than a full dose of virtually any other product. Visit the sponsor page of hbnshow.com or lifespannutrition.com or call 800-247-5731. 800-247-5731.
Wouldn't you like to increase your energy level and kickstart your natural healing power? Imagine reduced pain, less bloating, and enjoying a restful night's sleep. Maybe you need to improve your mood or get rid of headaches. Or perhaps you have loved ones who struggle with indigestion, Alzheimer's, concussion, or other discomforts. At HM3 Light, we offer the amazing Body Light Pad. Over 300 studies show how a special type of light helps with all those issues and more. This special light therapy helps by improving blood circulation and reducing inflammation. Those actions, along with detoxing the brain, can help post-stroke patients. To request studies that pertain to your particular interest or to learn about our lease-to-own program, call 800-580-1102. At HM3 Light, we are here to help you enhance, strengthen, and improve your whole body health with our flexible Body Light Pad. Call 800-580-1102. 800-580-1102.
Subscribe to Marty's free newsletter at the Healthy by Nature Show website, hbnshow.com. hbnshow.com.
Ooh, just in the nick of time. I changed where in the archives where it says Lily of the Desert. If you click on that, it takes you directly to the 99% jelly. And I added a link to my aloe vera book. Thanks to the wonderful folks at Lily of the Desert, they bought a lot of the books, and I'm able to give them away for nothing more than the cost of packaging and shipping. And I put a link in the archive for that, but there's also a picture of the book on the front, the title, the front of the website. And this is the 4th edition. It's entitled Aloe Vera, Modern Science Sheds Light on an Ancient Herbal Remedy. And we've talked in the past about as long as humans have been writing things down, they've been talking about aloe. So it's not a new idea by any stretch. Jack, I heard the commercials during the break for the aloe jelly. It's one of my favorite commercials because that's really about the size of it. If you don't plan ahead and take the right things with you, then you end up shopping in the gift shop. And it may say aloe on the label, but they may have done nothing more than wave an aloe leaf over a tanker truck load of whatever the product is. But it's even more than that. Besides having a lot of aloe in it, your aloe has been energized with AlloSorb. Explain what that is.
AlloSorb is unique to us, and it's a patent-pending process. The polysaccharides within aloe, and especially the higher molecular weight polysaccharides, provide all the goodies. It allows aloe to provide the ingestible aloe that you drink. It enhances the bioavailability of our product. It allows the aloe to penetrate the 3 epidermal layers by using the AlloSorb in our product. It is something that is very unique. It is unique to Lily, and we're excited about it. And one of the things I just wanted to mention quickly, you mentioned right before you went to break about the pricing and difference, and I was looking at some things that you had sent me as a link because I wanted to check a couple of things out anyway. Yes, there's products out there over $10 more expensive and a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're vertically integrated. We basically grow the leaves on our plantations, and they're called plantations in Mexico, so that's why we use the term. So they're grown in our fields. They're processed in our facilities with our people. They're bottled, and then they're sent to the stores. So everyone else out there in the marketplace, in the aloe community, basically only does 1, maybe 2 of those processes, but mostly do none. They're just a marketing company. And so it's really important to know that we control the quality, and it helps us to grow, process, and provide a product at a very reasonable price. And that's been our methodology for the 50 years and for the 35-plus years that Don Loveless has owned the business. Made a big difference, and we're continuing to be as innovative as we can.
And I really admire Don's commitment to not only the highest quality, but to being affordable. He could certainly get away with raising the prices, but he wants people to be able to access the benefits. And I want people to learn to really read labels. I had to laugh when I was looking at these competing products, and the label of Lily says 99% aloe. Well, yeah, that's what you want. You've got to allow 1% for making it thicker and so on. One of them says 100% gel. Well, that just talks about the texture. That just means it doesn't have like dog biscuits in it or something. It's all gel, but the gel could be made up of anything, the way they describe it. And
the benefit about the gel or our jelly also versus our juice, they both provide the same benefits. And with the jelly, you're getting I mean, you're saying it's 100% gel. To your point, all that means is you're using some thickener, whatever it is, and makes it a gel. It's in a juice format when it comes out from the leaf.
Yeah, the enzymes when you take it out of a leaf, and you have to be very careful when you do that because the yellow sap in the peeling is not good for you. It's chunky, but the enzymes in it digest it into a liquid, and so if you get a thick product, it's had a thickener added to it. I just want to point out, we've only got a minute or so left, that the lining of our entire intestinal tract, starting from the mouth and going all the way to the plumbing, is like skin, and that's why when you drink aloe vera, you get the same healing properties that we're aware of on the skin. There we can see it, on the inside we can't, but a lot of information about that and what products to use for various health issues are in my book, Aloe Vera. Modern Science Sheds Light on an Ancient Herbal Remedy. Free, $5 shipping and handling. There's a link in the archives, or there's a picture of the book on the homepage of the website, hbnshow.com. When we come back, we'll have a few more announcements, and I'll save enough time to thank my guest, Jack Brown. So don't go anywhere. This is Healthy by Nature. My name is Marty Whittakin, and we have just a tiny bit of time on the other side of this break, so hang in there.
We all know that probiotics are good for digestive health, but your skin, too? I'm Kat James, author of The Truth About Beauty. Common skincare products, especially harsh soaps, can disrupt the balance of the good bacteria on your skin. But there's a progressive new approach to skincare that allows you to create a healthier environment on your skin, probiotic skincare. Dr. Ohira applied ancient Japanese fermentation skills to merge his famous pre, pro, and postbiotic nutrients into a revolutionary 100% natural skincare line. The Kampuku Beauty Bar, honored with the Best of Beauty Award by Better Nutrition, beautifully clarifies and rebalances even sensitive skin without drying. The Magaroku lotion and the Hadayubi moisturizer combine Dr. Ohira's award-winning probiotic complex with 14 wild plant extracts plus one of the most skin-compatible emollients known to help restore your natural glow. As a health and beauty expert, I recommend the daily use of Dr. Ohira's skincare products, available at Sprouts and other fine health stores.
Wouldn't you like to eliminate bacteria, odors, dust, pollen, pet dander, and other allergens from the air in your home and office? Negative ions are the reason that air is so fresh and invigorating around waterfalls and the seashore. Innovative Ion Box uses those same negative ions to purify any room in your home, especially the bedroom. Ion Box devices are quite affordable and conveniently small, so that you can take one with you to work, in the car, and even on vacation. Studies show that because of its advanced microchip technology, no other ion purifier, even much larger units, come close to the effectiveness of Ion Box. Plus, it's ozone-free, and there are no filters to change at removing bacteria, odors, dust, pollen, pet dander, or other allergens. Improve your sleep, mental focus, mood, energy, and performance. Stay healthier with Ion Box. Visit the shop page of hbnshow.com. Again, that's the shop page of hbnshow.com. People who regularly drink coffee or tea, consume sugary foods, and in particular drink wine, beer, or spirits, and people who take antacid or diuretic water pills deplete their body of vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. Symptoms of vitamin B1 deficiency can include headaches, chronic cough, racing heart, constipation or diarrhea, non-infectious fever, crippling weakness and pain, difficulty walking or talking, loss of smell and taste, breathlessness, loss of hunger, sweating, tingling in hands and feet, memory problems, and more. The answer to these problems is vitamin B1 in the preferred fat-soluble form provided in Nerve Guardian. It is the new dietary supplement from Lifespan Nutrition. Nerve Guardian provides 10 times more vitamin B1 than the best diet. Buy one bottle of Nerve Guardian and get a second bottle free. That's a full 8-month supply for just $3.12 per month. Call Lifespan Nutrition today and ask for Nerve Guardian. Call 800-247-5731. That's 800-247-5731.
Sign up for podcasts or listen to past programs on our website, hbnshow.com. hbnshow.com.
Before we get back to aloe vera, I promised to give Susan Linke's contact information again, and her website is Susan Link with an E on the end, SusanLinke.com. The phone number for the practice is 469-233-0710, 469-233-0710. And I'm very proud of the sponsors we have on this show. I try to always find the best in a category, and that way they all profit by exposure to other great products. And Wind Me Up, and I talk about Lily of the Desert aloe. The jelly I didn't mention before also contains vitamin A, E, and C, and it's made from actual aloe, not from a powder product. And, Jack, sometimes the other companies not only don't enrich their product with something like Aloesorb, they actually remove some of the healing elements by breaking these long-chain polysaccharides down into simple sugars because they don't use the sophisticated process that Lily of the Desert has. Is that right?
That's correct. The Aloesorb is really an enhancement of those high molecular weight polysaccharides, and they're very sensitive to heat, to stress, pressure, etc., and they get broken down very easily. And if you have that happen, they just become simple sugars, and you're not even getting any benefit out of any of it. So it's very important how you process your aloe. It's not just squeeze a leaf and put a lid on it. There's a lot of things that go into making aloe, and it's certainly Don, over the 35 plus years, 50 years that we've been in business, has made it a priority to have a quality aloe and do everything possible to make it the best aloe available.
Because the magic is in the leaves. The job is to, number one, don't destroy it in the process of getting it out and into the container. So what kinds of enzymes are used and filtration and so on is highly important, but you do go the extra step to enrich it with more of those heavy, higher molecular weight polysaccharides, and I do get into that and a lot of the science in the book, and I did put the link in the archives of today's show so that you can become an expert on aloe vera and how to determine what you're getting. The easiest way to know that you're getting an excellent product is just to only pick one from Lily of the Desert, and they're in 99% of all the health food stores. If your health food store doesn't have it, there's something wrong with them, so you need to straighten them out and go in there and ask them to order it. Jack, this has been a great pleasure. I enjoyed having you with us. Have a great weekend.
Healthy by Nature is sponsored in part by Lily of the Desert Aloeceuticals.
Are you living with chronic pain from injury or the degeneration of aging? Knee, hip, shoulder, and back surgeries can be risky, expensive, even with insurance, and entail long, painful recoveries. Steroid shots give only temporary relief and can damage joints. Thankfully, our Creator blessed us with stem cells. They are the amazing power that built our bodies and fixed problems fast when we were kids. Stem cells reduce inflammation, regenerate tissue anywhere in the body, and balance immune function. However, as we age, we lose most of these tiny miracle workers. Replenish them with Infinity Cell Therapy. The therapy is simple, safe, virtually painless, affordable, and you do not miss work to recover. Infinity umbilical cord stem cells are pure and extremely vibrant. Be younger and stronger for longer. Call 800-507-6509 today for a free ebook and to schedule your no-cost, no-obligation, no-pressure consultation, or to find a stem cell seminar in your area. Call 800-507-6509 today.